my name is Josiah. This is Crash Course, and today we will be looking at court cases. Today we will begin by saying a daily prayer. What's that? Oh yeah, that's right. That's ironic. Today our topic is actually Engel versus Vitale, which deals with prayer. Now, let's start with some good old history. The mid-1900s were full of political debates between religion and secularism. Books such as The Religious Crisis of 1960 by Hugh McLeod explored these issues which pertain to the Christian church and the conflicts within it, with the rise of liberal Christianity against conservative Christianity. Schools became more liberal as time went on, especially with the passing of the Civil Rights Act. Schools would then put more focus on science, and with this, the passing of the National Defense Education Act was passed, and this allowed for more funding into the research of science and also the education. Challenges to religion in schools during the 20th century grew for two reasons. One, you got to go for the public school. And two, you got the use of the 14th Amendment to apply the First Amendment to everyone in all states. Now, using this information, let's dive deeper into the very important court case of Engel versus Vitale. What, too much with the hands? And they got the message. So, a New York law required all public schools to begin the day off with a non-denominational prayer in which students recognized their dependence on God and they could choose to participate. Keyword choose. However, it is clearly stated in the First Amendment that Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, which was added to keep the federal government from establishing a national religion. You can probably guess why this would become controversial, as parents obviously do not want their kids to be introduced to a religion in which they do not believe. Such parents, such as Stephen Engel, would object this prayer, which read, "Almighty God, we acknowledge our dependence upon Thee, and we beg Thy blessings upon us, our parents, our teachers, and our country." Stephen Engel would obviously go on to sue the school's principal, William Vitale, because he believed that the law violated the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. Him and his group would go on to further their support for their beliefs by bringing in the separation of church and state, which requires that the government stays out of any religious activity of any kind. However, the school believed that prayer could be a useful tool in developing character and good citizenship in all students of New York, especially in a time period in which you would have communist spies being held on trial on the daily and there being an increase of troops being sent to Korea to combat the communist aggression. They would respond to the parents by saying that it wasn't necessarily an establishment of religion because the prayer was optional and available only to those who wanted to participate. And it was actually an intrusion on state rights for the Supreme Court to strike down the right of the regent to compose prayer and encourage its recitation. Now, it's clear that both sides have their own arguments in this very controversial case. And the ultimate question you must be asking yourself is, did this school-sponsored undenominational prayer at a public school violate the First Amendment's Establishment Clause? Too specific? No. I read their minds. They were thinking the same thing as me. Anyways. Well, the court ruled that although the prayer is voluntary, it still goes against the First Amendment's purpose, which is to prevent the government intervention with religion. Justice Hugo Black's Establishment Clause. It is no part of the business of government to compose official prayers for any group of the American people to recite as a part of a religious program carried out by the government. This ruling ultimately cited the importance of separating government and religion and was the first case that effectively prohibited the government from sponsoring school prayer. Similar cases arose like Abington School District versus Shemp of 1963, in which a Pennsylvania state law required that each school day open up with the Pledge of Allegiance in their reading from the Bible for every student who wanted to participate. However, The court cited the Engel versus Vitale ruling and held that the reading of the Bible constituted that the government endorsed a particular religion, and therefore it is ultimately violating the Establishment Clause. Engel versus Vitale became an important model for following cases that dealt with religion in schools and marked a change in history that moved American ideals to a more liberal view. Well, that's how the cookie crumbles. And yeah, that's Engel versus Vitale. Please check out our next video, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.